Hello, this is Mrs. Kavanaugh again. We are going to talk about graphing linear equations, but this time we're going to talk about the point slope form of the line. The point slope form of the line looks like this. It's y minus y1 equals m, that's the slope, times x minus x1. And x1 and y1, they represent a point. So x1 comma y1 represents a point on the graph. So say, for instance, we have a line, and this is the point slope form of the line. A specific line, a very specific line. The line is y minus 2 equals 3 times x minus 3. So some of the things we know, right, when we look at this line, this form of the line, is we know a few things. First of all, we know what the slope is right away. So what is the slope? Yeah, so the slope of this line is going to be, m is going to be 3. Or you could also write it as 3 over 1. 3 is the rise, and 1 is the run. So it's rise over run, right? And so now we just need to find a point on that line, right? We know what the slope is. We're going to draw this xy axis just like that. So the way we find the point is, well, we can find it from this equation of the line. So we know this x1 is going to be positive 3. It's actually not going to be negative 3 because the formula of the line is minus x1. So minus 3 means that x1 is going to be 3. It's a very important thing to remember. And then our y1, what do you think it's going to be? Yeah, our y1 is actually going to be the number 2. So we now have two things. We have the point 3, 2, and we have the slope, which is 3. So we can go onto our graph paper here, our homemade graph paper, and we can plot the point 3, 2, which is right up here, right? We go over 3 from the origin, 1, 2, 3, and we go up 2, 1, 2, right? And then the second thing we're going to do is look at the slope. Let's draw a few more points here to help us. And our slope tells us to go from the point we know, and it tells us to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and over 2, 1, 2. Oops, no, up 3, 1, 2, 3, and over 1. So we have a point right here. So if we get our ruler, we can draw our line through these points. We've got to go a little bit more like this. And then I'm just going to stop short, and we have to pierce this line here. What is the name of this line? That's right, we have to find the x-intercept. So how do we find the x-intercept? You find the x-intercept, or x-int, I'll call it the x-intercept this time, is when y equals 0. So we can make a table, we could do that, but we're really only looking for one point. So for this time, we're not going to use a table. So we're going to take this equation right here, and we're going to substitute in 0 for y. So it's going to be 0 minus 2. Notice how we took that y and we made it a 0 because we're looking for the the x-intercept. So 0 minus 2 is going to equal 3 times x minus 3. Let's use a little bit of algebra here. We're going to use the algebra to figure out how to solve this. All we're doing is solving for x. So this is going to be negative 2 equals 3x minus 3. So that's not quite right. We're going to have to just copy this down here. And now we're going to use the distributive method. So negative 2 will equal 3x. And that 3 is distributed to the negative 3 minus 9. Let's add 9 to both sides. And we will get, let's write it up here, we get 9 minus 2 is 7. 3x stays the same. and the 9, negative 9 and the 9 go away. So we get 7 equals 3x. Let's divide both sides by 3. 7/3 is going to equal x. And 7/3 is basically right here. It's 1 1/3. It's about 1 1/3. So our line continues on like this. All right, so that's good enough. I don't think we'll find the y-intercept. However, we could. So how do you find the y-intercept? All right, we're going to stop it right there. I think we've got 3 good points there that we plotted. You understand the point slope form of the line looks like this format. And right from here, we can glean or we can take out. We know what the slope is. We know what a point is on that line. And from that information, we can plot it. And we find the x-intercept just by substituting in a 0 for the y value. All right. Thanks for listening.